Welcome to Jesse Waters Prime Time tonight. Down goes Maduro.
Tonight, happy New Year.
What's next?
Nicolas Maduro had his chance. He effed around and he found out.
Hands up, Venezuela! Free President Maduro!
The left defends a dictator who stole an election. What?
You're confused? I don't know why that's confusing.
Every minute that I spend defending my own political interest would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota. So I've decided to step out of this race.
Tampon Tim abandons ship.
What are we gonna do? We're gonna turn the page.
Plus,
how did Trump capture Maduro?
I don't know what that is.
Maduro.
Is that a place?
big beautiful fireworks are going off right now over the nation's capital as Trump kicks off the countdown to America's 250th birthday. Venezuela got the new year started off with a bang, courtesy of Uncle Sam.
Amor. Ay, no.
After the clock struck midnight Friday and the skies were clear, the commander-in-chief signed off on one of the most audacious military operations in American history. 150 aircraft from over 20 bases in the Western Hemisphere took off towards Venezuelan airspace. Venezuelan seaports, military bases, and air defense systems came under attack. Communication, radar, and air defense systems neutralized and jammed, thanks to U.S. Cyber Command and Space Force. An elite team of Delta Force commandos flew low to the ground in Night Stalkers into the capital of Caracas at 1 a.m., catching the narco state completely by surprise. As the choppers approached their target, they were hit with enemy gunfire, but responded with overwhelming force. Explosions rang out throughout the capital, while an elite army unit blowtorched the doors off the fortress, hiding the narco tyrant Nicolas Maduro, a fugitive from justice. The president watched the action live from a secure room at Mar-a-Lago. Delta Force took out Maduro's Cuban security team and zeroed in on the dictator's lair. Maduro and his wife scrambled out of bed in their pajamas and headed to their steel safe room, but they didn't make it. He was apprehended, and the operation ended in less than 15 minutes. The dictator, handcuffed, blindfolded, and wearing a gray Nike sweatsuit, was sitting on the USS Iwo Jima on his way to American soil to face justice. And the next thing you knew, he was on a helicopter being flown directly over the Statue of Liberty. A little tour of the city right before he got booked and did his perp walk in Brooklyn.
Good night. Happy New Year.
Maduro and his wife are now being held in solitary confinement in one of the dingiest jails in America, where El Chapo, Diddy, Ghislaine Maxwell, and R. Kelly did time. This morning, Maduro and his wife pled not guilty to charges of narco-terrorism conspiracy, conspiracy to import cocaine, and weapons charges. So why the wife? Turns out she's the brains behind the operation, so she's getting charged too. But Maduro had options. Trump gave peace a chance. The dictator was offered an off-ramp to retire in the lap of luxury in Turkey. And now he's going to die in prison. It was one dance move too many for Venezuela's president, says the New York Times. The president felt like the dancing dictator was mocking him and trying to call his bluff.
Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance, until they didn't and until he didn't. He effed around and he found out.
Maduro made the wrong move and bet on the wrong horse. Just hours before his arrest, Maduro was meeting with the Chinese, and the two nations claimed they were united. China, not a great ally. They can't even protect their own puppets. And the air defense systems they sold to Maduro didn't work. Our intelligence agencies were following his every move. A CIA team inside of Venezuela, a source inside the Venezuelan military, and American surveillance drones had Maduro's schedule down to a T. We knew what he ate, what he wore. We even knew about his pets.
We watched, we waited, we prepared, we remained patient and professional. This mission was meticulously planned, drawing lessons from decades of missions over the last many years. This was an audacious operation that only the United States could do.
It took 10 days and 27,000 soldiers for Bush 41 to capture Noriega in Panama. And it took Donald Trump and a Delta Force team an hour to nab Maduro in Venezuela. Not a single American soldier perished. The operation was precise, surgical, and swift. Even Obama's top spy couldn't spin it.
U.S. military and U.S. intelligence are second to none in terms of their capabilities, their competence, talent, as well as their courageous actions. And so it does look as though it was a flawlessly executed operation.
Operation Absolute Resolve sent a clear and convincing message to every enemy capital in the world.
They will be impressed with the military capability here. I would argue none of those three militaries could have executed an operation like this. They'll be saying to themselves, that's a very capable military. That's not a bad thought to pop up in Beijing, Moscow, and Tehran these days.
The narco tyrant was harboring Chinese and Russian spies, plus Hezbollah. They were in business with the Colombian cartels and guerrillas, pouring migrants, gangs, and drugs into our country. And they stole our oil leases and handed them to Beijing. No bueno. Smoking coke boats was just the appetizer. Maduro had been under indictment for years. He was a fugitive with a $50 million bounty on his head, and now he's ours. The long arm of the law will find you if you're a narco-terrorist, an arms trafficker, a tax cheat, or even a sex trafficker hiding on an island. This was about justice, once and for all. So what's next?
Is the United States now at war with Venezuela?
There's not a war. I mean, we are at war against drug trafficking organizations, not a war against Venezuela. We are enforcing American laws with regards to oil sanctions. We have sanctioned entities. We go to court, we get a warrant, we seize those boats with oil, and that will continue.
This is about stopping a war, not starting one. And it's not over yet. This was not regime change. The regime's still intact. This is about changing the regime's behavior. Maduro's vice president was sworn in. Ms. Rodriguez still controls the security, military, and administrative state. The man who runs Maduro's paramilitary unit, still alive. The generals, still there. CBS, apparently not impressed with the mission, wonders, why didn't we just arrest the whole regime?
I'm confused. Are they still wanted by the United States? Why didn't you arrest them if you are taking out the narco-terrorist regime?
You're confused? It is not easy to land helicopters in the middle of the largest military base in the country. The guy lived on a military base. Land, within 3 minutes, kick down his door, grab him, put him in handcuffs, read him his rights, put him in a helicopter, and leave the country without losing any American or any American assets. That's not an easy mission. And you're asking me why didn't we do that in 5 other places at the same time?
Do you hear yourself, Margaret? Capturing Maduro is just the beginning of the plan. From now on, Trump's the man of the house.
Who's in charge of Venezuela right now? Have you spoken to the newly sworn in president there, Rodriguez? And what are your thoughts on the entire situation? You said the U.S. would run Venezuela.
We're dealing with the people. We're dealing with the people that just got sworn in. And don't ask me who's in charge because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
Yes, we're in charge.
Toppling dictators doesn't take you to the promised land. America's learned that the hard way. Democracy down there is going to take time. Maduro lost his last election in a landslide, but he didn't leave. The military and state officials are still stacked with loyalists and thieves. The Venezuela project's day to day, and we're looking for people who we can work with or pay off. In the meantime, We have a naval blockade which controls their cash flow, and gunboats parked offshore to control their behavior.
We have a quarantine on their oil. That means their economy will not be able to move forward until the conditions that are in the national interest of the United States and the interest of the Venezuelan people are met.
Let me ask the question again. What is the legal authority for the United States to be running Venezuela?
Well, I explained to you what our goals are and how we're going to use the leverage to make it happen.
Are you running Venezuela right now?
George, I've explained again that the leverage that we have here is the leverage of the quarantine.
Venezuela is like the Spanish Saudi Arabia. They have more proven oil reserves than anywhere in the world. Over 300 billion barrels. That's like a quarter of the world's reserves, just sitting in our backyard, being squandered by thugs and communists. The oil leases were stolen from American companies. The infrastructure was left to rot. And whatever revenue they were able to squeeze out, they lined their own pockets and bribed their patrons. Once American companies produce what's rightfully theirs, energy prices go even lower, and so does inflation. It also means the Chinese will be buying the oil from us. The Iranians, they lose a customer, and low prices starve Putin's war machine in Ukraine. The American and Venezuelan people can both make money now, and we don't have to worry about a failed narco state on our doorstep.
Why does the United States need to take over the Venezuelan oil industry?
Why does China need their oil? Why does Russia need their oil? Why does Iran need their oil? They're not even in this continent. This is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. They are not going to come from outside of our hemisphere, destabilize our region in our own backyard, and us have to pay the price for it. Not under President Trump.
The Trump administration's pivoting away from the Middle East, making NATO share the burden in Europe, and refocusing on the Western Hemisphere. We're not going to let our own neighborhood become blighted with drug dens and Russian puppets and Chinese speculators. This is about protecting our neighborhood, not somebody else's. Venezuela's not the only country in the neighborhood getting attention. Every leftist puppet government is now on notice. Who knows who's next? An armada in the Caribbean controlling Venezuelan oil, especially after we regain control of the Panama Canal, puts pressure on a lot of countries, including the one country producing all the coke. That would...
Colombia is very sick too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
So there will be an operation by the U.S.
It sounds good to me.
The price of cocaine is about to go sky high, but Gutfeld can afford it. The president of Colombia leaves office this year anyway, so the new guy better read the room. At least a half a dozen Latin American governments have elected right-wing, pro-American leaders in the last 2 years. Communist-backed leftists are on a massive losing streak, and China's Belt and Road initiatives collapsed. We're winning the Western Hemisphere. And technically, this country is in the Western Hemisphere.
We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. Oh, I don't want to talk about Greenland now. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it.
Between the attacks on Iran's nuke site and the Maduro operation, American deterrence is back. The U.S. military, fresh off their Christmas bonuses, are feeling the love. Recruitment at an all-time high. DEI is dead, and the Secretary of War has their back.
You're about to do a tough job. You're about to go do some tough basic training. It's not, we hope, a little bit tougher under this administration to prepare you, to forge you to be the warriors that our nation requires. To do the kind of things that happened over downtown Caracas, Venezuela in the middle of the night, just a couple of nights ago.
America is already, well, let's just leave it at that. Senator Ted Cruz joins me now. Senator, I've never seen Lindsey Graham so happy as I saw him there on Air Force One talking about toppling these dictators. What is next?
Well, listen, Saturday was a great day for America. It was a great day for Venezuela, a great day for the world. Maduro is a thug. He's a narco-terrorist. He was indicted for trafficking thousands of tons of cocaine into the United States. He has blood on his hands. And what we saw executed on January 3rd was extraordinary. The military precision to go in with 150 aircraft into a crowded metropolis. Caracas has 5 million people to land in a major military base, to take out the Cuban bodyguards, to apprehend Maduro and his wife, and to get out without losing a single U.S. serviceman or woman is extraordinary. I actually spoke with President Trump this evening about it, and I told him this was a moment of incredible strength for the commander-in-chief. I got to tell you, Jesse, every enemy of America, from Russia to China to Colombia to Cuba to North Korea to Iran, they're all looking at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and I got to tell you, they are very frightened of the commander-in-chief and the military capacity. There is no other military on the face of the planet that could carry out what our American servicemen and women did in the early hours of Saturday morning, and that was just extraordinary.
Yeah, I am in awe of Delta Force, every branch of the U.S. military, and really, the president and his team deserve a lot of credit. That was a really gutsy call.
Absolutely.
Thank God that went flawlessly. The oil that's sitting underneath Venezuela and off the coast, it's massive. Why is that so critical to American economic and national security interests?
Well, Venezuela has massive natural resources. As you mentioned, it has the largest proven oil reserves in the world. It also has the largest reserves of gold in the world. It's an extraordinary, blessed country. I'll give you an amazing statistic. Do you know where Venezuela ranked in the world in terms of GDP per capita in the year 1950?
You got me.
Number 4.
Wow.
Number 4. In 1950, you had the United States, you had Switzerland, you had New Zealand, and Venezuela was number 4. And what happened is first Hugo Chavez and then Nicolas Maduro, both communists, came in, utterly destroyed the economy, took what was a rich, prosperous country, and drove the economy into the gutter. Communism is a disaster. It doesn't work. Comrade Mandami in New York doesn't understand that. He wants to emulate what Maduro did. You know, Venezuela has had more than 8 million people flee its country because the communists have wreaked such damage. And one of the many things that is so consequential about President Trump arresting Maduro is I am hopeful it will, in short order, lead to free and fair elections in Venezuela where they can democratically elect a leader and have a free market capitalist systems where they can develop those resources, I hope in close cooperation with the United States. That will benefit the people of Venezuela, but also very much benefit America. And there's a reason, Jesse, that Russia and China and Iran were all in Venezuela because they want a major beachhead in the Western Hemisphere, and President Trump acted decisively to say, get out of the Western Hemisphere, it's not yours, and we don't want that threat to the south of us.
Yeah, decisively and realistically. He's not rushing the democracy experiment right away, and I think that's cautious and prudent, and we'll see how it all plays out. Senator, great to talk to you again. Great job by the U.S. military.
Thanks, Jesse.
What a great and perfect operation. Tampon is tapping out. Plus, here's Johnny.
How'd you ring in the new year?
I blacked out at a party and my friend had to carry me home and I lost my shoes.